Hello. There we are. There we go. Now we're all set. Now we're looking schmexy. All right. All right, all right, all right. Let's double check the audio here. Make sure everything's all good. One second, one second. Double check real quick. Perfect. Audio's working. Everything's good there. All right. Perfect. There we are. There we go. There we go. There we go. Perfect. The audio's working. Yeesh. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Little bit of technical difficulties. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right. Let's see here. Somebody making noise? All right. All right. Good, good, good. All right. So, got everything all set up, all set and ready to go. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right. Let's get everything started over here. Let's get everything all set up. Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, isn't it? It's Tuesday. Yes, it's Tuesday. All right. So good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Tuesday. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. And I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing well. And I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. We're getting ourselves all set up here for the microcap mornings. Getting all the announcements ready to go. All the announcements. All the announcements. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right. There we go. Getting ourselves all set up with the announcements. The announcements. There we go. All right. Got that going on right there. Got this going on right here. All right. Got that going on there. All right. Marty says, hello, Rainmaker. Yes. Keegan says NUWE, boss. All right. Yeah, we'll get right on that. Hold on real quick. Let's make sure. Is the stream working? All right. All right. Good, good. There we are. Yes, we will get on NUWE in just a second. Just getting all the announcements out, and then we will get on that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. There we go. All right, all right. Let's get this over here. All right, get that set up over there. There we go. Boom. All right. We got ourselves all ready to go. All right, let's get this intro started. What's up, guys? It's Double Nicks, and welcome to another episode of Microcap Mornings. I am your host with the most. They call me DBL Nicks in the house, a.k.a. the Rainmaker. And I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Sometimes she likes to jet ski. Other times she likes to regular ski. Other times she likes to get shot out the cannon and she goes, wee! Other times she likes to go to RBs and watch videos of puppies and kitties. Other times she likes to go to sometimes maybe Mickey D's. Other times Wendy's. Other times maybe she'll just go into the Burger King. Other times she'll just steal my lo mein. And other times she just gets shot out the cannon and she goes, wee! Other times she likes to go, and chill and call some stonks on with the ABCDs. There we go. All right. She did call quite a few stonks like NUWE, HIND, PHGE, and XTKG. We call her DB Moms. All right. So, hold on. You gotta give me more than that. Come on now. DB Moms. All right. There we go. All right. So, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. So, before we begin, remember, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And, of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section down below. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, ladies and gentlemen. The early bird gets the cash. All right? And, of course, we got all sorts of amazing stunks that we have called early in the morning. Hold on, let me just fix this little glitch thing here. Because it's being a pain in the butt. Because it does that. In a second. All right. All right, there we go. So, yesh. There we are. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ourselves all set up and ready to go. Yes, sir. All right. So, let's take a look over here. Let's see what we got going on. What do we got? Let me at him. All right. So, the first request was for NUWE. All right, but before we begin, let me just get this out here. We did call quite a few wonderful stonks today. We called NUWE. All right. We called NUWE prior on our private Discord prior to its 184% run early in the morning. All right. And all right. There we go. All right. There we go. So, yes, we called NUWE on our private Discord. Ran up a nice 184% after we called it. All right. So, we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right. So, yeesh, we got that going on right there. We called XTKG. All right. And that ran up a nice 156%. 156%. There we go. All right. We called PHGE, which ran up a nice 146%. 146% right there. All right. We called HIND as well. We called that stock on our private Discord. All these, by the way, were called on our private Discord prior to their runs. So HIND, we called that prior to its 142% run right there. All right. We also called GNTA, which ran up a nice 98%. GNTA, 98%, ladies and gentlemen. So we got that going on right there. So just to recap, we called NUWE prior to its 184% run, XTKG 156%, PHGE 146%, HIND 142%, and GNTA 98%. That's what we got going on right there. That's what we got going on right there. Marty Ortiz says, hello, Rainmaker. Hello, hello. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well, Marty. Hope you're doing well. Keegan asks for NUWE. NUWE, let's take a look. We called the stock early in the morning prior to its 184% run. Currently up 108% as of now. Did have some nice movement here. Now, it did have a nice movement on the way up over here. All right, so I'll put this over here. Bop right there. All right. Boom, boom, boom right there. All right. Now, I also had some nice movement right over here. Boom, boom, boom. At first, I would have thought, it's a bit of a cup and handle over here, an awkward one, but an awkward, and it was for a little bit. It was for a little bit. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let me get that out of here. Bop right there. All right. And then it did curl its way on up until right over here. So got this going on right here. So it has a bit of a descending wedge going on over here. Fell below the VWAP. Not too schmexy as of now, but it did have a nice run earlier in the morning. Up 184%. 184%. Let's actually get some support and resistance lines for the stock right here. Let's get some support and resistance lines. Bop right here. Bop right there. Boom. Okay, so as of now, that's what we got going on. That is what we got going on. Hold on right there. Hold on. Let's see. There we are. So, as of now, it has support at the $4.02 mark. Needs to break above 447, but it looks like it's dropping like a rock now. So, not too schmexy as of now. NUWE did have a nice run earlier in the day, but as of now, not looking too schmexy. Has to break above 447, has to break above 492, then has to break above 503, which is the VWAP over here, 548, and then 638 for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mya. That's what we got going on right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we got going on, so it needs to do that. Let's see if it's got any. Let's see how the float is. Float is 876,000. Volume is 70 million. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. Let's take a look at the news. Let's see if it's got any news. NUWE, last bit of news it had was about 4 days ago. And New Welles refreshes board amidst linked capital raise plans, and they announced a change to the board of directors. So they got that going on right there, but that's the last recent bit of news that it really had. So that's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. Currently, NUWE needs to break this descending wedge and also needs to break this VWAP. So NUWE needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAP. That's what it's got to do right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mya. trades has asked for HIND, HIND. We'll take a look at HIND. Let's take a look at HIND. Hold on. HIND. Now, we called this stock earlier in the morning prior to its 142% run on our private Discord as well. So link to join that is in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. Let's take a look at HIND. Currently up 65%. 65% as of now, but it did have a nice run up 142%. 142%. So we got that going on right there. Let's get this zoom in the room. Right here, boom, boom, and boom, right there. All right, had a bit of a double top right here at the 699 mark over here at the 699 mark right there. So we got that going on right there. It needs to break this pennant right over here and needs to break that VWAP because it went up over here up to around the high of 765, which is where that 142% line is. Went back down, fell below the VWAP, and now looks like it's trying to curl. Needs to break above this pennant, needs to break above that double top, and needs to break above that VWAP right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Let's get some support and resistance lines right here. Support and resistance. There we go right here. So now it's got support at the $4.08 mark. Is breaking through 485 right now. Needs to break through 540, 595. Actually, no, excuse me, 586, which is where the VWAP is. Then 595, 662, and then 771 for it to be schmexy to me. And it also has to break through 699, which is where the double top is currently residing as of this point in time. As of this point in time, that's where it's residing. Needs to do that. That's what it needs to do. So needs to break through 699. That's the major resistance right there. After that, 771 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. But right now, it needs volume. It needs volume. HIND has a 4 million float, 28 million volume, which is good. It's very good, but it was overbought at one point in time, pulled back, and now is not overbought or oversold in the RSI. So we got that going on. Let's see if it's got any news. Let's see what news it's got. It does have some news. So, Viome, which is the name of the company, shares move higher. Co-highlights independent analyst valuation of Viome. And they valued Viome's VT 1953 at $1 billion US upon successful completion of a phase 3 study. So they got that going on right there. That is what they got going on. HIND. Let's take a look. HIND needs to break the pennant, VWAP, and the double top. Needs to break those three things for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. So it's got a ways to really go until it can possibly curl back up. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 300. 300. Let's get to 300, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 300. All right. So that's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look at some other stonks over here. Give me just a second. Just 1 second right here. So I can just get everything all copacetic, ready to go. Get this over here. Bop, right there. Get this over here. All right. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. 1 second. Let me just get this up here. All right. Okay. Hold on 1 second. There we go. There we are. And boom, right there. Beautiful. All right. So, as of now, we got that going on right there. Let's take a look at IVF. IVF. Let's see how IVF is doing. IVF went up to 60%, pulled back a little bit, had a price spike. IVF has 15 million float, 3 million volume. Price spike on low volume. That's what they got going on for IVF. IVF. All right. Price spike on low volume right there. But if it did break the VWAP, I'll give it credit. It broke the VWAP. So IVF, price spike on low volume. Got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look at IPW, which went up to 37%, pulled back a lot to 1% now. Not looking too schmexy there. Fell below the VWAP. Had a bit of a double top over here at the $5.92 mark over here. Looks like it fell down to this area right over here. All right. Needs to break the pennant right here. Needs to break this pennant right here. And the VWAP needs to break the VWAP as well. IPW needs to break the pennant and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Yes, that's what we got going on. That is what we got going on. All right. There we go. XTKG. Let's take a look at XTKG. XTKG. All right. Had a bit of choppiness on it. A little bit of indecisive wicks here and there. But other than that, it's been doing okay. Had a nice high of 156. Wasn't really indecisive wicks either. It was just like doji candles here and there. But it was a little choppy. But other than that, it's doing all right, you know. So here it is as of now. XTKG had a bit of a pennant going over here. Broke above that pennant and then basically shot up over to here and now has a bit of a descending wedge going on right over here. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say that there was a bit of a double top going on right over here at the 66-cent line. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look at some support and resistance lines for the stonk right here. Let's take a look. Hold on. 1 second. Boom. All right, there we go. And there we go right there. All right, so as of now, you have the 61-cent line over here, which is the line of support. Actually, I'd say 53 cents because it did fall below 61. So as of now, 53 cents is the support line, 61 cents is a resistance line, 59 cents as well as a resistance line because it is where the VWAP is. 61 cents is the resistance line, and then after that, 73 cents is another resistance line right over here, with the 66-cent line over here being another form of resistance because there is a double top right there. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. XTKG needs to break the descending wedge and the resistance lines. There we go. That's what we got going on right there. XTKG. How about CYN? How's CYN looking? CYN did have a bit of movement upward, little bit of movement upward. Has a 7 million float, 55 million volume. So that's what we got going on for this stock. Is currently up 26%. 26% right there. All right. So as of now, has to break above this pennant right here and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. CYN. Let's take a look over here. CYN needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. There we go. There we go. Let's get a share party going. Let's get the 500. 500. Let's get the 500 right there. Let's get to 500. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. All right. Hold on. Okay. So, as of now, let's see what we got going on. What are the stocks we got over here? All right. Let's check in on NUWE. How's NUWE holding up? Still on that descending wedge right there. Still needs to break that descending wedge. Needs to do that for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. needs to become somewhat schmexy to me as of now. That's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. All right. So, yes, that's what we got going on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. All right. Hold on. Let's get the requests out. Let's get the requests out. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. So, PHGE. Let's take a look at PHGE here. While we wait, PHGE, we called that prior to its 146% run, but has since pulled its way on back nicely. No, not nicely. It's never nice when things go down, but there was a bit of a double top over here and another double top right over here at the $10.13 mark as well. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look over here. Bop right there. A little bit of a panic going on over here and over here. All right. And then just a downtrend off this double top right over here. Needs to break that VWAPA for it to be so much mexy to me, but right now it also needs to break that downtrend. So needs to break the downtrend, needs to break the VWAP for it to be so much mexy to me. That's what we got going on right there. All right. PHGE needs to break the VWAP and the downtrend. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's see. CYN. Let's see. Still needs to break that descending wedge. CYN still needs to break the descending wedge. GNTA. All right. This needs to break a downtrend over here. This needs to break a downtrend over here. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second, 1 second. There we go. Like that. GNTA did have a nice movement upward, but other than that, downtrend over here. It needs to break the downtrend. It needs to break the VWAPA for it to be so much mexy to me, but GNTA did have a nice 98% run earlier in the day, so we got that going on. GNTA needs to break the downtrend and the VWAPA. All right. All right. Give me 1 second. 1 second. There we go. All right. Okay. Ish. All right. All right. Marty says IVF, please. IVF. All right. All right. Most definitely. We'll take a look at IVF. Let's take a look over here. All right. Night Rogue says OPN, please. Good morning, by the way. Good morning, Night Rogue. Good morning. Hope you're doing good, man. Hope you're doing good. All right. So let's get this double top right here. Double top right here. That's what we got going on. IVF, as of now, has a bit of a move upward. So far, had a nice move upward. 67%. Had a bit of a double top right here at the $2.07 mark over here. Needs to break that small resistance for it to be so much mexy to me. So IVF, as of now, has a nice movement upward. 15 million float, 14 million volume. The volume is slowly creeping up to the float, so we like that. I like that. IVF moved up on low volume. Needs to break the double top. That's what it needs to do right there for it to be schmexy to me. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look at the float and volume. Well, actually, we did already. Let's take a look at the news. Let's see about news. So, IVF has news that infertility. Okay. I thought you tapped me for a second. I was like, what's up? Okay. Infertility expands their share authorization and equity flexibility, and their general corporate statement came out as well, Form 8. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. So they expanded their share authorization and equity flexibility and filed the Form 8. So that's what they got going on in terms of news. That's what they got going on. And it looks like IVF is currently breaking above that double top and is curling. It's curling its way on up still, moving its way on up. That is good. I like that. I like that it's moving on up. IVF broke the double top, moving on up. There we go. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Still needs to just break above it now. That double top is a real big pain in the butt resistance point. So it's got to break above 207. Has to break above 207 for it to be interesting to me. NAMM, NAMM. And don't worry, we'll get to OPEN as well, Rogue. Don't worry about that. We'll get there. We'll get there. As of now, NAMM. Let's see what we got going on here. All right. So, as of now, there we go. Had a bit of a shot upward, A to B, B to C, C to D. Had a bit of a doji candle over here. NAMM doesn't look like it has much in terms of the volume department. I mean, actually, it doesn't look like it has much in terms of the float department, but we don't really know. Volume is 4 million, so we got that going on right there. It's not showing anything in terms of volume, or excuse me, in terms of float, so we got that. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep an eye on it right now, but quite frankly, I don't think that this is going to move much. It did have quite a few moves earlier in last week as well as this week a little bit, but it's one of those stocks that I think it looks like it's trying to fight to keep it to stay up, but you know what I mean? It's man. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. NAMM. I wouldn't even say that's an ABCD really. I wouldn't even say it's an ABCD. It's more like just watching it go up twice a little bit. So it had to move upward here with some indecisive wicks, right? And then then pulled back a little bit at around here. And then just curled its way on up over here. So it needs to remain friends with the trend. NAMM needs to remain friends with the trend for it to be so much Mexi to me. Needs to remain friends with the trend. All right, let's take a look at OPEN for Rogue. OPEN open seems to be quite barcoded as of late. Very low volume, not looking too schmexy, not looking too schmexy at all. So as of now, man. Has quite a bit of a channel forming over here. Channel time, it's channel time right here. So it's got a bit of a channel going on right here. Channels just going on over here. It needs to break above the VWAP. It needs to break that channel. It needs to break the barcoding as well. OPEN needs volume to break the barcoding channel and the VWAP. All right, let's take a look at ASST. ASST Which is like a crowd favorite. A lot of people ask me about that one with OPN and BYND. So I'll take a quick look at it right now. ASST, ASST, choppy, low float, needs volume, just below the VWAP. ASST needs volume to break the VWAPA, and the choppiness. Hang on just a second, ladies and gentlemen. Just 1 second. 1 second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. 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 All right. So, as of now, ASST is currently up 1%. Not looking too schmexy to me. Meh. Not something I'm personally going to enjoy there. All right. Hold on 1 second. All right. BYND. Let's take a look over here. Let's take a look. Very choppy, indecisive wicks. Very much so below the VWAP. Not looking too schmexy as of now. BYND needs volume to break the choppiness and the VWAPA. There we go, right there. Boom. All right, let's see what else we got. PHGE. How's PHGE doing? PHGE still on the downtrend. Not looking too schmexy as of now. PHGE still on the downtrend. Not looking too schmexy. Let's see what else we got. All right. Let's see here. All right, somebody requested IVF, India Victor Foxtrot. Let's see here. IVF currently had a nice shot upward over here, but looks like it's pulling back after the resistance line at $2.07. Looks like it's pulling back a little bit, so we got that going on right there. Needs to hold above that VWAP and stay above that descending wedge right there. But if it doesn't, IVF needs to break above the descending wedge and stay above the, it's a break above the double top, break above the double top. There we go. That's what it needs to do right there. So as of now, it's pulling back. Not feeling schmexy with that one. Somebody requested FTEL, Foxtrot Tango Echo Lima. Very choppy. Not a lot of volume for this stonk right here. FTEL. Very choppy with very low volume. Not looking too schmexy. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1100. FTEL as of now, not looking too schmexy right there. Let's take a look at SMR. All right, so as of now, SMR also kind of choppy and on a bit of a downtrend underneath the VWAPA. Not looking too schmexy. Not looking schmexy as of now. SMR needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. There we go. BZAI currently moved upward over here. needs to break this pennant and needs to break the VWAP. BZAI needs to break the pennant and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. Let's take a look at NUWE. NUWE has a NUWE holding up. It looks like it's curling off that descending wedge. There we go, but needs to break the VWAP. So NUWE curling off the descending wedge, but needs to break the VWAP. So it still needs to do that, ladies and gentlemen. Still needs to do that. All right, IVF. Let's see how IVF is doing. Trying to curl above that descending wedge and testing the double top. IVF trying to break the descending wedge and is testing the double top resistance line. There we go. Boom. There we go. CYN still needs to break that pennant. Still needs to break that pennant and needs to break that VWAP. So CYN needs to break the pennant and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. All right. PHGE. All right. Needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP still. Needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP still. All right, there we go. GNTA. How's it looking? Looks like it's trying to curl a little bit. Still needs to break that VWAP though. GNTA curling off the downtrend, but still needs to break that VWAP. GNTA curling off. Curling off the downtrend. Still needs to break the VWAP. So there we go. Got that going on right there. CYN. All right. CYN. Can it break the pennant and the VWAP right there? All right, and NAMM. All right. Needs to break that descending wedge right there. NAMM needs to break the descending wedge. New descending wedge. There we go. That's what we got going on right there. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1300. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's what we got going on. That is what we got going on right there. All right. So as of now, let's see here. XTKG. Curious. I want to see what it's looking like. XTKG. All right. Looks like it's curling off the pennant right now a little bit. Can it break through that double top line over there at the 66-cent mark over here? Can it break above 66 cents and then go further above that and test the high of day? Can it do that? We'll see. We'll see. All right. XTKG is curling off the pennant. Is curling off the pennant and is moving on up. Can it break the resistance line and test the high of day? We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. All right. We shall see, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see. All right. All right. All right. All right. Yes. Consistency asks for CHKP. All right. We shall take a look at CHKP. 1 second. 1 second right there. Hold on. All right. All right. So let's see what we got going on here. Consistency asks for CHKP. CHKP. Let's take a look at CHKP. All right. CHKP is currently above the VWAPA, but very, very expensive. Very expensive stock. Little bit low on volume. I can tell just by looking at it. You take a look over here. Float is 82.1 million. Volume is unknown at this time, so it's unknown what the volume is, but the float is extremely heavy. Let's see if it has any news. Does it have news? Checkpoint Software Technologies and Hendrick Motorsports partner to strengthen cybersecurity for racing operations. So that's good news. That's good news that they're partnering with somebody to enhance their cybersecurity operations, but the float is still extremely heavy. All right, let's take a look at the movement over here. Chart is it's on the uptrend. I'll give it that. It is on an uptrend right now, CHKP, but it is on an uptrend on some low volume right there. Needs volume because it's showing that there are two indecisive wicks right over here and over here. Not too schmexy to me. Not too schmexy. Not schmexy at all to me. So, as of now, needs to remain on that uptrend, but needs volume. All right, needs volume, but needs to remain on the uptrend, but needs volume as well. So, CHKP, expensive stock on the uptrend on low volume as of now. Needs more volume for it to be so much mexy to me. That's what it needs, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it needs. All right. Let's see here. Consistency asked for ERIE. ERIE. Bet. ERIE. Eerie. All right. So, Erie, as of now, is showing a lot more indecisive wicks. So I can tell right off the bat, low volume, very expensive stock right here. ERIE, let's see if it has any float. Float is 25 million, which is a bit better, but still heavy. Volume is 1.5 thousand. So as of now, very low volume, very heavy float. Not looking too schmexy. ERIE changes to beneficial ownership have happened. They basically changed up their board, so they got that going on right there. All right, but ERIE as of now, very, very low volume, very, very expensive stock. ERIE, expensive stock, very low float. Very low float. So, you got that going on right there. Let's see, TTD, the Trade Desk Inc. Very choppy. Very choppy. And moving downward below the VWAP. Not looking too schmexy right there. So, as of now, TTD needs to break, needs a lot of volume to break the downtrend and the VWAPA. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's take a look over here. Let's take a look over here. Somebody requested IVF. IVF. Let's take a look over here. IVF as of now is currently a bit of a pennant right here. Bit of a pennant going on right here. Needs to break this pennant. Looks like it's trying to test that little resistance line over there formed by the double top. So we got that going on right there. IVF. IVF needs to break the pennant as of now. IVF needs to break the pennant right there. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. So, as of now, that's currently what we got going on. That is what we got going on. All right. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. There we go. All right. Here we are. FTEL needs to... All right. Hold on 1 second. FTEL. There we go. All right. Somebody requested FTEL. Let's take a look at FTEL. FTL, very choppy, very low volume, very, very low volume. Not looking schmexy at all. Not looking schmexy at all. So we got that going on right there. FTEL, not looking schmexy. Very low volume. FTEL, very, very low volume. Not schmexy. All right, let's see what else we got. XTKG, how's XTKG going? XTKG pulling back towards the support line, not looking too schmexy there. XTKG needs to curl and stay above the support line. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Let me at him. Let me at him. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1700. 1700. And ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cash. Hold on, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, as of now, XTKG needs to break above that double top. Needs to break that. Needs to break that, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, once you get the real-time alerts and scanners, you gain access to the amazing chart over here. You gain access to all sorts of cool stuff, including the chat room where all the members of our private Discord go. It's a wonderful community of people who like to build each other up and make each other a lot better than they were before. It's a very supportive community, very, very, very educational community. It's a wonderful community for us to, hang around, learn, help each other out, etc. It's an amazing community all around. You also get the market movers scanners, which basically show you the ticker, price, volume, float when the ticker came in. how, whether or not it's moving up or down, how high in terms of percentage change did it move, etc. You also gain access to those little hyperlinks, which you can click on for the tickers that we are currently keeping an eye on. And basically what you do is you basically just take a look at it and say, oh, hey, look, you know, the chart's moving this such and such percent, or it's moving this way, etc. It's really, really cool. Very great tool for research, etc. The newsroom is basically as well for research. It basically gives you a small synopsis of the articles in the newsroom, and then it gives you a hyperlink to read the full articles. And to top it off, it gives you a hyperlink to the ticker that is affected by the news within said article. And yeah, you get that there as well. You get access to our ticker tape, which basically shows all the tickers that are moving and we're keeping an eye on. So we got that going on right there. The ones that are like moving and grooving and moving and grooving. It shows the one, we basically are keeping an eye on them, and it basically just pops up. And they've also got hyperlinks, so you could actually check out this chart and the newsroom and all the other information about the stock before you make any decisions of your own volition there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it with that one. All right, so let's continue. All right, let's get going here. Let's get going, because we got 10 minutes till the bell. The bell. It deafens me. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1800. 1800, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1800. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Come on now. Yes, sir. All right. All right. So, as of now, yeah, we're just chilling right here, keeping an eye out for some wonderful stonks to move here. Let's take a look over here. Let's take a look. Let's see about. Somebody requested SMR. SMR. Let's take a look at SMR. SMR moving down on a downtrend, not looking too schmexy, needs to break that downtrend. SMR needs to break the downtrend as of now, not looking too schmexy to mya, not looking too schmexy to mya. All right, somebody requested XPHGE XPHGE. Let's take a look. Very choppy and low volume, bearish. Not looking too schmexy. Is above the VWAP, but God only knows how long that's going to be there. XPEV, bearish with low volume. Not looking too schmexy there. Not looking too schmexy. All right. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Consistency asked for... I think we did TTD already. We did TTD. Let's see here. What other stonks we got? Somebody requested BABA. 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 All right. BABA. Let me get a drink real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get a drink real quick. All right. I'm back. So, as of now, Baba is currently moving its way on downward. Not looking too schmexy as of this point. I'd even go so far as to say it's on a bit of a downtrend over here. Very expensive stock. Not schmexy at all. BABA, very expensive. And on the downtrend, needs to break that downtrend and needs to break the VWAP. BABA, expensive, needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. But even then, it's going to need a whole lot more than that to be schmexy to me. All right, let's see what other stonks we got here. All right. Somebody requested, what's this? PAPL. PAPL. All right. Let's take a look at PAPL. PAPL very, very choppy. Not a lot of volume. Very choppy as of now. PAPL, very choppy and low volume. Not looking too schmexy there. Not looking too schmexy. All right. Next up is MBAI. MBAI looks like that's on a downtrend as well. Not looking too schmexy there. Not looking too schmexy. All right. Let's see here. All right. So MBAI on a downtrend. Not looking too schmexy here. Needs to break above that downtrend and needs to break above that VWAP as well. MBAI needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP for it to be so much schmexy to me. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 2100. 2100. We still got about 7 minutes till the bell. The bell. All right, so let's take a look over here. Let's see what other stocks we got going on. All right. Let's see here. Someone requested UAMY. UAMY. All right. All right. Let's see. All right. UAMY currently on the downtrend. Currently on the downtrend, very choppy. Not looking particularly schmexy. These are all requests, by the way, that we're getting, ladies and gentlemen. So, I mean, you know, it'd be like that. Downtrend over here, down 2%. Not looking schmexy. Very, very low volume. UAMY, low volume. Needs to break the pennant and the VWAP. So you got that going on right there. Boom. All right. Let's see. What other stocks we got? What other stocks do we have, ladies and gentlemen? Someone requested DEVS. DEVS. Not looking schmexy at all there. Not looking schmexy at all. DEVS. All right. DEVS currently very, very choppy. Low volume. Not schmexy. Not schmexy at all. DEVS. Choppy with low volume. Not looking too schmexy there. Let's take a look at something else. CYN. CYN. How's CYN doing? CYN looks like it's trying to curl above the pennant right now, but needs to break that VWAP still. So CYN needs, curling off the VWAP, but needs to break, curling off the pennant, but needs to break the VWAP. Curling off the pennant, but needs to break the VWAP. Yeesh. All right. XTKG 161%. Oh my. Broke out of the high a day. Perfect. Yes. So as of now, broke the high a day. XTKG up 161%. Broke the high a day. There we go. XTKG broke the high of day. Up 161%. There we go. There we go. All right. All right, all right, all right. So that's what we got going on right there, folks. That is what we got going on. We got 3 minutes till the bell. The bell. XTKG went up to 162%, pulled back a little bit, but looks like it might be poised to move up once again. All right. right. So as of now, XTKG had a nice 162% move. Pulled back. Yeesh. So there we go. That's what we got going on right there. Let me take a look over here. Bless you. XTKG had a nice high up 162%. Where is my pen? I need my pen. Dear Moms, did you steal my pens? Uh-huh. You stole my pen. Stealing. Okay. XTKG 162%. There we go. 162. All right. XTKG new high up 162%. There we go. All right. All right. There we go. Somebody requested CHRS. CHRS. Wait, hold on. How's XTKG doing? Up. It's testing the high. Hold on. XTKG 163. That's nice. Yes. Come on. Come on now. XTKG currently 163. 163. That is the new high as of now. 163. All right. XTKG needs to break the broke the high day once again. Broke the high day. The bell. The bell. It deafens me. XTKG broke the high of day and ran up 163% now. So now it looks like it's trying to do its thing right there. Looks like it's trying to do its thing. Yes. So we'll see what goes on there. We shall see what goes on. All right. All right. Hold on one second. More. All right. Okay. There we are. Boom. Okay. So what else we got? What else we got? Let me add them. Let me add them. All right. It is now 9:30. It is now 9:30. XTKG pulled back. Not looking schmexy there. NIVF. No. XTKG pulled back. Not looking schmexy there. No longer the schmexiness. Pulled back at the bell. People are profit taking. That's what we got going on with that one. That's what we got going on. All right. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Let's take a look at CYN in the meantime. CYN. All right. CYN pulling back. Hold on one second. Ladies and gentlemen. CYN pulling its way on back. Not looking too schmexy there. All right. So CYN, as of now, pulling back. All right. Pulling back. All right, that was a request, but CYN looks like it's pulling back here. So let's see about IVF. IVF. All right. Looks like IVF is forming a bit of a double bottom over there. A double bottom as it tries to pull its way back up. Looks like it's trying to pull its way back up right now. Boom, right there. Trying to break above the VWAP. The VWAP. IVF. needs to break the pen. No, broke the VWAP. Actually, broke the VWAP. Broke the VWAPA and is climbing up 69. Nice percent right there. 69% right there. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see what else we got over here. XTKG. How's it doing? Nah, still pulled back. Not looking schmexy. XTKG pulled back. Eh. All right. NUWE. NUWE. Had a bit of a pull up and then basically pulled into a bit of a pennant right here. Now it looks like it's curling above that pennant right now and trying to test the VWAP. NUWE. Curling and trying to test the VWAP. There we go. Boom, right there. All right. ABOS. ABOS. Let's see how ABOS is doing. Price spike on low volume. ABOS price spike on low volume. There we go. All right. All right. Let's see here. What else we got? NETG. NETG. NETG, very choppy, low volume, not looking schmexy. NETG. Choppy with low volume. Not schmexy. Not schmexy to ya. All right, let's see what else we got over here. What else we got? What else we got? Let's see. Somebody requested CHRS. Choppy. Choppy with low volume. Choppy with low volume moving down. CHRS. Choppy with low volume moving downward. Not looking schmexy there. Let's take a look at another one. Someone requested HOOD. HOOD. All right. HOOD is actually moving its way on upward right now. So you got that going on right there. Up 1% though. And is a very, very heavy stock. Very expensive. But the float is tremendous. Yep, float is 760.9 million. Volume is 1 million and change. Not looking schmexy at all. Not looking schmexy. Has confirmed Q4 earnings due in 14 days on Tuesday, February 10th. But this is Robinhood, so not exactly a stunk that I'd be interested in because it's extremely expensive. So HOOD, expensive, stunk on a choppy uptrend with low volume. So they got that going on right there. That is what they got going on. Boom, right there. All right. So let's see what else we got. What else we got? Let's see. Someone requested PHGE. 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 Let's take a look over here. All right. PHGE curling a little bit over here, but it kind of gapped its way on up a little bit. PHGE looks like it's trying to test the VWAP, though. I'll give it that. PHGE trying to test the VWAP. All right, let's see what else we got. What else we got? Let me add them. Let's see. All right. 1 second. Let's see here. All right, so we got PHGE up 75%, breaking the VWAP right now. Keeping an eye on it right now, just a little bit. Keeping an eye on it. All right. Looks like it's breaking through the VWAP there. Broke through the VWAP, up 82%. PHGE broke the VWAP. Broke the VWAP. Up 82% right there. Okay. ATPC. All right. Broke the VWAP as well, just freshly. ATPC freshly broke the VWAP on low volume. Looks like it pulled back. No. All right. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we got going on. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And, of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. All right? So that's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, when you join our private Discord, you gain access to the amazing community, which has a bunch of very supportive people in it that love to help build each other up. They love to build themselves up, because, you know, what's better than making money? Making money with other people and enjoying the wealth together. You know what I mean? Enjoying that money together. All right. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you get access to the market movers scanners as well, which give you the ticker, the price, the volume, the float, the percentage change, whether the stock has been moving up or down as of late, minute by minute, every single minute of every single trading day. It does that, so it keeps an eye on everything for you. And all you could do right there, all you really got to do is just take a look at it real good. Take a look at it nice. Click on the little hyperlinks on there, and you gain access to the chart, the news, all sorts of information for everything you want for the stock that you need, that you're looking for. And to top it off, ladies and gentlemen, it's just a great research tool all around. All right, and to top it off, you get the newsroom, which basically gives you a small synopsis of each and every article, allows you to click on the hyperlink for said article to read the full article, and then gives you a hyperlink to the ticker that's affiliated with the news within said article and is affected by the news in said article. And to top it off, ladies and gentlemen, you gain access to the wonderful stock ticker tape, which basically shows the tickers that are moving that we are keeping an eye on directly. So you got that going on. And if you join the Wealth Builders package, you get all that, all of what I just mentioned for the real-time alerts and scanners. Plus, you get exclusive access to all sorts of exclusive Wealth Builders content, such as being in contact with Coach Nick and myself, having a direct line to us, right? So that we can help you out. And to top it off, you also gain access to the exclusive Wealth Builders course material with over 500 videos, 500 plus videos of material, and to top it off, exclusive Wealth Builders content such as exclusive Wealth Builders picks, and of course, exclusive Wealth Builders scanners. And to top it off, you get access to the exclusive Wealth Builders scripts and behind the scenes footage. So you get all that stuff and more just by going into the Wealth Builder. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, link to join both of those in the description down below, as well as the pinned comments section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. So take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day. We will see you soon for our show, Power Plays, ladies and gentlemen. Power Plays, which is basically a wonderful show hosted by the legend himself, Coach Nick Money, as he basically traverses the stock market prior to the power hour of the stock market. And basically what he does is he looks at the stock market, gives his honest analysis on each and every stunk, and then basically plays some Fortnite and gets some dubs. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, good news, we have actually fixed up the Fortnite. So remember last night we did have some technical difficulties with it. We have since fixed those. Coach played it last night. It worked smooth as butter in a pan. All right. So be sure to check out Power Plays coming at you at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to check it out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be co-hosting it. Coach is going to be hosting it, and we're going to have a good old time. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us on our YouTube, where we do lots of videos, stock analysis, and stock reviews, as well as live streams and other content at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money, so you can find us there doing that. You can find us on X.com, aka Twitter, at Coaching Money, where we do lots and lots of live streaming stock reviews and stock analysis there as well. So be sure to like and follow. Be sure to follow us there as well. All right, and subscribe and all that wonderful stuff there too. And be sure to check us out on Twitch at Coaching Money. We do lots of live streaming there. You be sure to follow us and be sure to subscribe to us there as well. And ladies and gentlemen, you could also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. So be sure to check us out there as well. And to top it off, you can find us on TikTok, Tiki-Taki, aka the Tac. The Tac. You can find us there at DBL Nicks. At DBLNICKS, and the screen name is Coach Nick Money. So we got that going on right there. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes. All right. So that's pretty much it for me. It's Double Nicks. I love you guys. I'll see you guys at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Power Plays. I'm here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Other times she likes to regular ski. Other times she just gets shot out the cannon and she goes, whee! Other times she likes to party and go to RB's. And sometimes she'll go to Mickey D's. Sometimes she'll go to Wendy's. Other times she'll go to a place like, for example, Burger King. Other times she'll just go to a Whataburger. No, I'm just kidding. She'll maybe go to Five Guys Burgers and Fries. All right, but she'll also love to steal my lo mein. And to top it off, she do be calling them stocks that make the ABCDs. Like, for example, she did call NUWE XTKG PHGE HIND and GNTA. So, yeah, we call her DBL Moms. Hey! All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we got going on right there. That's what we got going on. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day. We love you guys. We'll see you for Power Play.